So I can talk now. I had given my teeth an extensive brushing before, and I was in the process of gargling water in my mouth when I was taking videos earlier, so I wasn't talking. But I spit the water out, and now I can talk again. So it is day number 36, and it is Friday, June 7th, and Riley and I are walking down Laurel Avenue, which is the main street in the town of Damascus. So, a little update on the day. It's been a while since I last broke the camera out, and Riley and I are still in Damascus. We're kind of we're close to getting out, but we're seated and we're still in Damascus. And currently, I am commemorating our achievement of getting to Virginia, Damascus, Virginia, 470.5 miles or so on the trail, by eating a pint of Roadrunner Raspberry Hershey's Premium Ice Cream. I'm a big ice cream fan. There's a dog over there that Riley sees. I'm already thinking about the half-gallon challenge that's going to be at Pine Grove Furnace State Park in like 630 miles or so when we get to about the halfway point. But for now, I'm commemorating our achievement with a pint of ice cream. And this is a flavor that I don't think I've tried before, Roadrunner Raspberry. So it's tasty white chocolate ice cream with raspberry swirls and raspberry filled chocolate cups. It's a hot one today. Riley and I, we were sitting up there at the picnic tables earlier. We're at a gas station which has a kitchen service and a convenience store inside. And we were sitting up there, and it was shaded for a while. But then, as the day has gone on, there's no more shade up there. So, Riley and I were trying to stay in the shade by confining ourselves more and more to the limited area that existed. And then I'm like, why don't we just walk over here, sit in the grass where the shade is? We don't have to be at the picnic table. And this was I don't know why it took me so long to decide this, but it's so much cooler in here for both Riley and I. Riley and I have been enjoying some town food today, and this might not be the cap off. I might have a bottle of chocolate milk after this, but for now I'm enjoying the ice cream. And I'll give an update on our town food day later on. So we'll check in later. Just want to give an update on the ice cream eating here. So I'm making good progress. Not that there was any doubt that I wouldn't be able to finish a pint of ice cream, but the ice cream is very delicious. It's got a very strong raspberry flavor, as you would expect since it's called Roadrunner Raspberry. They call it white chocolate ice cream, and I'm not really sure what the difference is between this and vanilla ice cream. It doesn't taste like vanilla bean, but yeah, it's hard for me to distinguish this from a vanilla ice cream versus what they call white chocolate ice cream. Either way, it's the white ice cream part is very good, but it's hard to get any ice cream without the raspberry swirl in it. So everything is dominated by the raspberry flavor, and the chocolate cups that are mixed in are indeed chocolate filled. Well, they're chocolate cups filled with raspberry centers. And I have confirmed that by letting them melt in my mouth and making sure that there is raspberry inside the chocolate cups. So yeah, this is a very refreshing treat on a day that's very hot, especially since we're not hiking, so we're not keeping warm that way, but we're also not up high in the mountains in the shade. We're in the shade now, but earlier we were having trouble staying in the shade and we were getting hot. So this is a good flavor. I recommend. Hershey's ice cream, by the way, is probably the most common brand of ice cream that is sold along the Appalachian Trail. I haven't been to that many places yet on the trail where there's ice cream sold, other than like I went to a supermarket in Irwin. But I guess what I'm talking about is when you get to like a convenience store or a gas station that's very close to the trail, within walking distance, where you don't have to get a car ride to. Hershey's ice cream is, from my experience previously, the brand that's sold most frequently, particularly in the southern and mid-Atlantic states, like through Pennsylvania and New York. They have some other interesting flavors, I think, as you get like into Maine, but even in Maine they sell Hershey's ice cream. So that's an update on the ice cream. It's going well, and I'm gonna finish this up and enjoy it. Today is Riley Roll in the Grass Day. So if you're in Damascus, there's this Marathon gas station, and it also says Cowboys Food Mart, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dining area. And it says Cowboys over there. This is a good stop. Riley and I spent like probably at least 3 hours here. On the other side of the building there's parking, but on the far side there's picnic tables, and for part of the day at least the picnic tables are shaded, and there is a inside there is a grill where they can make sandwiches. Like, I mean, they probably mostly make hamburgers and cheeseburgers and french fries and mozzarella sticks. I ordered a grilled cheese sandwich and french fries earlier. So they can, and they can probably make stuff to order, like if you don't see it on the menu. Like the grilled cheese wasn't on the menu. Anyway, so they have a grill in there, and then they have a well-stocked convenience store, including, of course, Hershey's ice cream. And I took just gotta hold this up here. I took a half gallon of chocolate milk to go. So they have a well-stocked convenience store, and the people that work there, at least the people that I interacted with today, seem really, really awesome people, really down to earth. The lady that made my order, my grilled cheese sandwich and my french fries, she actually saw Riley as I was walking in, and she included in my to-go box 2 slices of chicken from the morning, I guess the morning food rounds that weren't going to be used, and she was probably going to need to throw them away, and she just included them in my box, thinking that I could give them to Riley. She didn't tell me. She just like included them as a surprise, and I did give them to Riley. So he got some nice nice extra unexpected treats thanks to the generosity of the lady inside. So there is a good restaurant in town called Damascus Diner. That's a high quality restaurant. And it's not overly expensive, but this place has good food too. So this is a good stop, good alternative to Damascus Diner. All right, we're gonna try to continue on. The gas station's still back there. We're slowly making our way out of town, and we're passing by this house here. Looks like this house could use some work. This is another place in Damascus. This is actually the last food establishment that you'll see in Damascus as you're hiking north on the AT. There's a red sign over there that says ice cream, and there's a Hershey's ice cream sign, and a big ice cream sign right there. I actually stopped at this place, I think in 2018, on my way out of Damascus, and I got a like a double or triple scoop of, I think, like banana flavor ice cream, or it may have been blueberry cheesecake actually. I think it was blueberry cheesecake, and it was very good. But since I've already had a pint of ice cream and I'm walking out with my half gallon of chocolate milk, I do not have room for additional ice cream. So we're gonna try to continue on here, but this is a good stop for ice cream as well, for anyone who's in Damascus. Riley saw some people walk across the street, so he is definitely of the mind that it would be nice to go across the street. But we're gonna continue on, and hopefully we'll check back in at some point on the trail. I mean, we are on the trail right now, but like we're gonna be getting back in the woods soon. All right, at long last, we have made it back to the entry point to the woods. Since leaving Damascus, we've been following this gravel bike path, which is actually part of an official trail called the Virginia Creeper Trail, and I believe it goes for like 70 miles in total, and it's just there's just this small portion of it in Damascus where part of the trail is shared with the Appalachian Trail. And as Riley and I were walking out of Damascus from where that last ice cream place was, there were probably like 20 bikers that passed us. Many of them were in small groups, and it's a Friday afternoon or Friday evening, so, and it's nice weather out, so it makes sense that there would be lots of bikers using the Creeper Trail, especially just biking through the town of Damascus. So we are gonna head back into the woods now. Hello, Riley. Okay, so we're doing fine. We are back in the woods, and the trail has been fairly pleasant, as it was before we got to Damascus. We came from that direction, and we continue on in that direction. There's a white blaze over there, but we just got to this side trail, which is interesting. So it's called the Iron Mountain Trail, and there's this sign here that says in 4.5 miles there's something called Sandy Flats, and then in 10 miles there's a shelter called the Straight Branch Shelter, and then there's something called the Cherry Tree Shelter in 15.5 miles. So that's cool. Just that there's this whole other trail besides the AT that has its own shelter system. So this must be like a pretty serious trail. I'll have to look it up sometime, but just wanted to show it because it seems like a pretty cool trail since it has its own shelter system. And let's check out what this sign says. Appalachian Trail, Damascus. Okay, so we've come 3 miles from Damascus. And then there's something called Feather Camp Bridge Trail in 2 miles. And if I can untangle myself a little bit from Riley, and then that just says Iron Mountain Trail to the right there. Okay. Very good. Very good. So Riley and I are both tired. I'm definitely tired, but I can feel that the evening is coming soon. So my plan is, well, first of all, there's been lots of tent sites. So I don't think it's going to be hard to find a tent site tonight. So my plan is just kind of similar to other days. Hike until it gets close to dark and then try to find a tent site. But we're not going to like push ourselves beyond our means. We're just gonna hike at a comfortable pace, get wherever we get to, and make sure we find a tent site with hopefully we can avoid having to do any difficult hiking beyond the darkness. So that's our plan. We'll see how it goes. We just crossed a road back there. It's not very easy to see now, and we just came across this bridge over this stream. This is maybe the biggest, or definitely one of the biggest bridges that Riley and I have crossed so far. Usually the bridges are much smaller, but this is a very substantial bridge. Look how Riley and I are all tangled. The leash is like going around me and then on the right. Riley, please, wait. Alright, I just wanted to show the bridge, that's all. Okay, so Riley, hey, it's okay, buddy, it's okay. Let me explain. Usually Riley does this when there's other hikers that he wants to go catch up to. It's really hard to talk over Riley here. But down there, it's probably hard to see on the camera, but you can probably, so down there, just a short ways down, there's something black, and that's actually the Virginia Creeper Trail down there. So we departed the Virginia Creeper Trail like back in Damascus and re-entered the woods, but the AT has not diverged far from the trail. It's stayed very close, and just a short while ago Riley heard voices, and then shortly thereafter we saw 2 guys coming up on their bikes moving along, and they just zoomed past. Riley saw them, and that's why he was barking, because he saw the bikes move past down there, and he wants to catch up to the bikes. So we're just close to the Virginia Creeper Trail still. Alright. Big river down there. And look how this tree fell here. The root system is all the way up there, and it just fell right on its face forward, and it's just blocking the trail. Like, it doesn't care about the trail at all. It just fell flat on its face. So pretty cool. Riley and I will figure out a way through this thing. So the AT continues this way, and right across the way there is well, there's a river that goes that's flowing over there, and there's a bridge that goes over the river, and the creeper trail just goes right over that bridge. And there's a campsite here, beautiful, huge campsite that you can access from the AT on this side, and you can also access it. There's stairs on the far side where you can access it from the creeper trail. And there's been a ton of campsites that we've been passing through, like way more than usual. And the reason that there's so many campsites is that I think a lot of them are just shared between the AT and the creeper trail. So I'm guessing the creeper trail was designed in a way where there's just like a lot of campsites that are accessible, and in this section of the two trail systems where they're very close to each other, it seems like they were able to design the campsites in a way where most of them are accessible by both AT hikers as well as bicyclists along the creeper trail. So that's really cool. Really cool. It's always nice to be hiking in an area where you feel like there's easy access to campsites. All right, we got a little bit more daylight to work with. And here's a really nice view. You can see the creeper trail super easily down there. Just the black, I guess I'm not sure if it's tar or if it's just black crushed gravel. Sort of looks like it's tar. And in a few miles, actually, the AT is going to rejoin the creeper trail for, I think, about a mile or so. This is a really nice, really cool section of trail. I'm enjoying hiking on it. It's not super hard, and I like the sound of the water. It's just a constant rush of the water going by, and it's cool seeing the bikers. I've only seen a few bikers so far, but it was cool seeing the bikers a little while ago when I wasn't expecting it. And it's cool seeing all the campsites, so I'm enjoying this section of the trail. Hello, Riley and Van Gogh here, checking in. We are safe and sound in our tent now, but it is just past midnight, and last time I think I had the camera out, I was talking about how I was enjoying the hike so much, and we were passing so many tent sites, and we were seeing the creeper trail a lot, and that was all true. Riley and I hiked on some more, and I was about ready to decide to take a campsite, one of the campsites that we passed. But the last two times that I was ready to take a campsite, I saw that there was somebody already using the campsite, and the campsite was big enough that we could have fit in if we wanted to. But I decided that I would prefer to have the whole campsite to ourselves, even though that's not totally necessary. So I decided to continue on in the hopes that we would find a campsite all to ourselves. And unfortunately, the second time that we saw somebody using the campsite, the trail got significantly more difficult. The trail got very rocky, and the campsites totally dried up. No more campsites, at least for a while. And it was also getting darker at that point. So the hiking became much more difficult. But there was still light. There was still light to use, so that was good. It was the main thing was that the trail became much rockier, and we had to continue on it because there weren't any campsites to take. But eventually, because there weren't any campsites to take, it just got darker and darker until I needed to get my headlamp out. And yeah, so it turned into difficult hiking, which is something I was hoping to avoid, but that's what it turned into. And we eventually came to a sign that said it was a junction in the trail where one path led to the next shelter on the Appalachian Trail, and another path led a quarter mile to the Creeper Trail. And I chose to stay on the AT, which I think makes sense. But at that point, the trail that led 2 miles to the next shelter, which is Saunders Shelter, the AT, just the way the AT goes is that it was very steep uphill from that point. Fortunately, the uphill was broken up into switchbacks. It wasn't just straight up a mountain, but at the same time, it was fully dark at that point, and 2 miles sounded like just a very long way when we're already both very tired and I'm totally ready to go to sleep. But that was the situation we were presented with. So I decided to take a break at that point, and just try to get relax my body a bit and get ready to continue on. So I took a break and we continued on. And the trail wasn't quite as rocky as before, but it was still difficult. And the fact that it was fully dark, that always makes hiking much more difficult. So it was slow going at that point. And then once we got within 1.5 miles of the shelter, I decided to take another break. And this one was a longer break. I secured Riley to my pack, and I actually kind of lied down on the trail and closed my eyes, and yeah, just let my full body relax. And we probably took a break then for at least a half hour, maybe 45 minutes. I didn't time it, but it was a long time. So those 2 breaks were part of why it's so late now, why it's after midnight. And we eventually continued on. And then luckily for us, we didn't have to continue on much further because we found a campsite shortly thereafter. I was thinking we were going to have to go all the way to the shelter, but we eventually found a campsite that was 1.2 miles south of the shelter. And so I was very happy to grab it. So we came in, I set up my tent. This is actually the first time that we are using the new tent that I picked up, that was mailed to me at Boots Off Hostel. Since getting the new tent at Boots Off, I've been carrying the new tent and the old tent. So I decided when I was carrying both tents, we were using the old tent as opposed to the new tent. I figured it just made sense to do that, just in case something bad were to happen to the tent. In that case, it would be the old tent that something bad happened to, and I would still have the new tent brand new, good to use. But now that I mailed the old tent home today, I'm down to just carrying one tent, so this is the first time we're actually using the new tent, and it's very nice. I got it set up just fine.
Anyway, so the important thing is Riley and I are safe and sound in the tent. Riley is already twitching and going to sleep, and I'm going to cut my long-winded review of our night to an end here, and we're both going to sleep like babies tonight, and we will check in tomorrow. I hope everyone is doing well, and like I said, we will check in tomorrow. So, good night.